Ever wondered what it's really like inside Jay Leno's insane car collection? The kind of place even the world's best-known automotive YouTubers dream of exploring. From legendary classics to futuristic hypercars, this tour will blow your mind and possibly your eardrums. Now let's dive right in. When you first walk into Jay Leno's garage, you quickly realize he has a soft spot for McLarens. And it's not just the quantity that makes eyes pop, but also the quality. Among them sits the McLaren P1, which Jay affectionately calls a pioneer of technology. Picture nearly 900 horsepower working in harmony with hybrid wizardry, all wrapped up in carbon fiber so precisely engineered that if you blink, you might think it's invisible. Jay has owned this P1 for about 5 years and cheerfully admits he hasn't fully tapped its potential because, according to him, "I'd like to live a bit longer." The P1 might be a hypercar of the future, but the McLaren Senna is its track-focused cousin that Jay finds a tad extreme for everyday use. He loves the performance. How could anyone not love a car that can corner like it's defying physics? But it's stiff, loud, and unforgiving if you try to use it for a Sunday grocery run. Jay jokes that he'd be better off driving a lawnmower around Los Angeles if he wanted comfort. In direct contrast stands the McLaren F1, a car Jay's cherished for 2 decades. He's taken it to McDonald's drive-thrus and blasted it along coastal roads. While some supercars from the 80s and 90s look almost quaint today, the F1 remains timeless, still capable of turning heads and rousing hearts. Jay loves pointing out its 3-seat layout, with the driver dead center, like a fighter jet. What's more controversial is the rumor that if you ding the car, your repair bill could buy a decent suburban home. Jay shrugs it off, though. He does his own fixes whenever possible. He says if he can't fix it, he'll find someone who can. One of the real underdogs in this corner, however, is the McLaren MP412C, the first one to arrive on U.S. soil. Some folks panned it for looking too plain, while others complained about early software bugs. Jay counters with facts: mid-engine balance, twin-turbo V8 punch, and daily usability that has proven itself over and over. He says it's the supercar for people who don't want everyone to know they're in a supercar. Maybe that's not what you expect from McLaren, but it's undeniably a stealth bomber on wheels. Parked not too far from the modern McLarens is the Mercedes-McLaren SLR, an often misunderstood machine that Jay swears by as a hidden gem. It's a grand tourer that can push 206 miles per hour and still cosset you in Merc-level luxury. Some critics think it's too heavy or too old man for a true supercar. Jay believes that's exactly the point. This is the automotive equivalent of wearing a tuxedo with sneakers, refined but with serious punch. Under that elongated hood sits a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 that loves to remind you how quickly your tires can vanish if you're not gentle with the throttle. The gullwing-style doors add to the wow factor, though they can be a hassle in tight parking spots. Jay jokes that he's nearly bruised his head a few times, but there's something about those doors that shouts supercar royalty. What's more interesting is the SLR's reliability. Even if it's overshadowed by Ferrari or Lamborghini in the public imagination, Jay calls it a turnkey rocket that doesn't fuss about minor issues. While some owners moan about maintenance costs, Jay counters that any 200-mile-per-hour car with an exotic badge is going to cost you. He just appreciates that the SLR can do 206 miles per hour, then settle into city traffic without spontaneously combusting. Stepping away from the realm of big horsepower and roaring V12s, Jay proudly shows off his Lotus Elan, an icon of lightweight British engineering. First produced in the 1960s, the Elan exemplified Colin Chapman's core philosophy: simplify, then add lightness. True to that mantra, The Elan famously weighs around 1,500 pounds, ensuring that even its modest four-cylinder engine can deliver thrilling handling dynamics. Jay loves telling people how the Elan feels alive at almost any speed, thanks to that featherweight build and superb suspension design. He'll also point out the downsides, mainly the electrics that have been joked about for decades, thanks to the infamous Lucas wiring system known for quirky failures. Jay concedes he's replaced a few components to keep it from burning to the ground, as he cheekily puts it. Yet, despite the occasional hiccup, he believes the Elan's pure driving engagement sets it apart from the heavier, more powerful cars around it. This is the car you grab when you crave a twisty road and a sense of intimacy with every corner. Jay calls it a go-kart for grown-ups, though he warns that once you drive one, you might never look at modern cars the same way again. Not everyone knows that a Rolls-Royce once powered Spitfire fighter planes during World War II via the Merlin engine. Jay's 1934 Rolls-Royce chassis features a monstrous 27-liter Merlin Phi 12. He jokes that it's so powerful, you could probably fly if you sprouted wings. The engine is concealed under elegant coach-built bodywork, which makes bystanders assume it's just a classy antique. Then Jay starts it up, and you hear a roar that belongs on an airstrip. Jay insists it's good for around 1,000 horsepower, though the real number might be even higher, thanks to modern tweaks. He's got 3D printed manifolds feeding multiple Weber carbs, ensuring it drinks fuel like a freshman at a college frat party. The downside? Fuel economy in the single digits. The upside? You get a car that can outrun most modern performance machines while wearing pre-war formal attire. For Jay, that contradiction is half the fun. Lamborghini fans rejoice. Jay has a soft spot for raging bulls as well, especially the Lamborghini Miura, a car often cited as the world's first supercar due to its mid-engine layout. Jay loves how the Miura's styling looks more like art than engineering. People have called it rolling sculpture, a claim that's hard to argue once you lay eyes on those iconic lines. Yet, it's not all sweet. The Miura can be a handful when pushed hard. Some owners have complained about front-end lift at high speeds, which can lead to sweaty palms on the freeway. But that's part of the charm, says Jay. If you can handle the quirks, like questionable cabin ergonomics and the occasionally temperamental carburetors, you'll be rewarded with a V12 whale that still sends chills down any petrolhead's spine. Jay cracks that the Miura turned him into a Lambo believer before the Countach posters took over every teenager's bedroom wall in the 1980s. He notes that the Miura can cost as much as a mansion if you're trying to buy one now in pristine shape. Then again, who wouldn't want to trade a house for an automotive legend? You might not expect an Acura NSX in Jay's exotic lineup, but he proudly boasts a first-generation example, specifically the third one ever built. This is the car that famously embarrassed Ferrari back in the early 90s by proving supercars could also be reliable. Jay grins, recalling how some die-hard Italian car fans scoffed at the notion that a Japanese sports car could measure up. Then they saw it drive day in, day out, with no drama. The NSX's aluminum chassis revolutionized how people thought about performance car construction, and the high-revving V6 proved that you didn't need 12 cylinders to have fun. While modern NSXs have gone hybrid, Jay's first gen is pure, old-school mechanical charm. He's quick to mention it's not the most powerful or the fastest thing in his collection, but it might be the one that starts every single time, no matter how long it's been sitting. That reliability factor earns huge respect in a garage full of finicky exotics. Parked in a corner that practically glows with significance is a Porsche Carrera GT. Jay calls it the last truly analog hypercar, a mid-2000s creation that demands a stick shift, a precise touch, and a good set of nerves. Its 5.7-liter V10 emits an addictive howl that can shake you to your core. Jay's personal stance. The Carrera GT is pure driver involvement at its best. The flip side is that it's not the easiest car to pilot. The clutch is famously tricky. Some folks stall it the first few times they try pulling out of the driveway. Maintenance is also notoriously pricey. Jay jokes that if you want to shock your accountant, mention ceramic clutch replacement. Still, for all its costs and demands, the Carrera GT is revered as the epitome of precision meets ferocity. Jay even references a test where it sustained 190 miles per hour laps at Talladega, reinforcing that this is no garage queen. As for the bright side, the manual transmission ensures you feel connected to every piston stroke, a sensation that's slipping away in the age of paddle shifters. If you think Bentley is just for the wealthy chauffeur crowd, Jay has a contraption that breaks all stereotypes. He took a 3-liter Bentley chassis and fitted it with an 8-liter W Bentley engine, plus twin turbos for good measure. The result is a machine lighter than many modern Corvettes, but with power that Jay insists is hilariously close to what you'd get from a high-end muscle car. He doesn't always reveal the exact horsepower, but it's enough to leave plenty of modern sports cars in the dust. The appeal here is the blend of vintage craftsmanship. Think old-school gauges, wooden steering wheel, and minimal driver aids, with an engine that can launch you like a rocket. This is Jay's idea of the perfect sleeper. One moment you're looking at an archaic Bentley that might putter around at 45 miles per hour. The next, it's spooling up twin turbos and catapulting forward. The con? Good luck finding parts. Jay often commissions custom pieces or digs through obscure Bentley clubs. But if it means reviving this Frankenstein's monster for the open road, Jay's all for it. You can't talk British classics without mentioning the Jaguar E-type. Jay has 2 special 1963 versions. The first is a pristine, mostly stock California car bought from its original owner, who apparently never dared to exceed 80 miles per hour. It still has its original paint and that infamous non-synchronized first gear. Jay chuckles at how different driving it is compared to modern sports cars. Double clutching or rev matching is mandatory unless you enjoy grinding gears. The second E-type is a more radical short wheelbase V12 conversion, often jokingly dubbed the Daytona version, because it features Weber carburetors, disc brakes, and an attitude that matches some Ferraris. It's faster, louder, and more temperamental. Jay loves the synergy of British aesthetics with Italian-inspired performance. If you're a purist, you might call it sacrilege. If you're a speed freak, you'll find it brilliant. Jay calls it the best of both worlds, as it preserves the E-type's iconic shape but roars like a rocket when you punch the gas. Among the grandest American classics in Jay's possession are his pre-World War II Duesenbergs. You might picture Gatsby-esque parties and impossibly wealthy tycoons whenever these majestic machines roll by. During their heyday, Duesenbergs were the most powerful American cars on the road, some producing over 250 horsepower when 40 horsepower was typical. That's the sort of performance leap that turned heads in the 1930s. Jay points out that Duesenbergs often boasted advanced engineering, like overhead cams and 4-valve heads, well before such things became standard. He adores how they combine opulence, rich leather, polished wood, custom coach-built bodies with an engine that can keep pace on modern highways. The challenge, naturally, is maintenance and sourcing original parts, which can be like searching for dinosaur bones. Yet, Jay insists it's worth it. He's a fan of using his cars rather than tucking them away, and the Duesenbergs are no exception. Sometimes you'll catch him cruising one around Los Angeles, a veritable time machine rolling through modern traffic. In a collection brimming with internal combustion brutes, the EcoJet stands out as an entirely different beast, one born from Jay's collaboration with General Motors. Rather than a conventional piston engine, The EcoJet is powered by a Honeywell LTS-101 gas turbine engine, the same type you might find in helicopters. Jay is quick to emphasize that this isn't some impractical flight of fancy. It's a fully operational concept car that runs on biodiesel, designed to showcase alternative fuels without sacrificing performance. The EcoJet reportedly cranks out around 650 to 700 horsepower. And Jay confesses the experience is otherworldly. Instead of the rumble you'd expect from a V8 or V12, you get a high-pitched whir that feels more like you're about to take off from an aircraft carrier. The instant torque delivery can catch you off guard if you're not careful. Jay jokes that it's the only car he's ever had that makes even hardened gearheads do a double take. Downsides? Fuel consumption that's sky-high and a lag in throttle response as the turbine spools up. But for Jay, the sheer novelty of driving a biodiesel guzzling turbine car outweighs any practical concerns. He calls it a rolling lab that proves we haven't run out of creative ways to power our passion for speed. Now for the headliner of modern American supercars, the new Ford GT. Jay calls it a piece of rolling sculpture that channels the spirit of the GT40 while embracing 21st century tech. Carbon fiber galore keeps it light, and the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 stuns doubters by pumping out well over 600 horsepower. Jay gets that some fans miss the V8 burble, but he points to the GT's Le Mans success as proof that the V6 shouldn't be underestimated. Controversy hovers around its limited production numbers and the early fuss when Ford famously told potential buyers they had to keep it for a certain time or face legal pushback if they tried to flip it for profit. Jay finds that a bit heavy-handed, but also admits it keeps speculators away and ensures these cars go to real enthusiasts. The design itself is another point of debate. Some think it looks too futuristic. Others love the innovative aerodynamic pillars. Jay sides with the latter, praising how it merges form and function. He's also quick to note that despite track credentials, the new GT feels surprisingly livable, though you'll have to be nimble to climb in and out of it without looking like a contortionist. And that, my fellow gearheads, is just a taste of the magic that unfolds when you step inside Jay Leno's insane car collection. From pre-war juggernauts to cutting-edge hypercars, each masterpiece reflects Jay's deep passion for all things on wheels. If you enjoyed this tour, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join us for more jaw-dropping automotive adventures. You never know what we'll uncover next, but we guarantee it'll involve horsepower, a bit of humor, and plenty of four-wheeled or three-wheeled wonders. Until next time, drive safe and stay curious.